Good morning, everybody, or afternoon, or mid morning, or evening, depending upon where you are in the United States or around the world. I really appreciate you all coming to join me live here on Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn. If you're watching the recording, you can DM me with any questions you have or book a call. And for those of you live, I really appreciate your time. So, we're going to be talking about magnetic leadership and mastering the art of workforce retention. So, I've been talking about leadership, training, speaking about leadership, communication, conflict resolution since the mid 90s. I used to work with a seminar company. And of course, now I'm out on my own full time. PhD in clinical psychology, so a little bit of background on me. And as I've been discussing leadership and doing training and coaching, I thought this morning we'd have a quick chat about how to solve probably the number one issue in today's workforce, which is how do you keep your best people? So how do you keep your best people? Fire away with questions. You can put them in the comment section. You can also email me at info@drbrianspeaks or direct message me on LinkedIn. So without further ado, let's get right into it. What do you think, one of the biggest issues on why is it hard to keep your best people, or what are some of the most common complaints of employees in today's work culture? And this goes across the work spectrum in terms of the multi-generational workplace. In fact, this issue is, I consider, something easy, yet the attitudes of, shall I say, bosses, leaders, CEOs, sometimes is a little bit biased or tainted on this. So absolutely the number one issue for workforce retention is simply the power of recognition. The power of recognition. So really, really important. Take the time, and it does not take a little bit of time. Compliment. When somebody does something well, point it out. Let them know that you recognize it. If you can do it face to face, that's better. You can put it in an email. You can text. But face to face, even if you have remote teams on Zoom, the power of recognition. Now, depending upon your behavioral or personality style, what happens is this. We say, I expect people to do well. Why should I point out when they do it well? Well, keep saying well. The idea is this. Everybody, universally, humans want recognition, not an award, not an awards ceremony, not a plaque on the wall. They want to know that as a CEO, as the owner, as a supervisor, you recognize that they're putting in the effort. And if you do that consistently when they are putting in the effort, and or coach them to how to optimize their performance, and then when they do take a step up after you've coached them, point it out. Point out that you recognize this. So the power of recognition creates a motivational power on the team. It's palpable. You can feel it. Other team members know it. Yes, the expectation is employees should work hard. Yet when you point it out, and you point it out consistently, and you point it out in a way that is meaningful for the employee, you're going to have a person who's going to go the extra mile for you. You're going to have teams go the extra mile for you. And more importantly, other people will talk about their work experience with you, your team, your company. and say, yes, it's great to work on Sharon's team. If you're thinking of coming here, jump in, apply for the job. You'll have team members being your biggest cheerleaders to bring in more talented people. So the power of recognition should not be minimized whatsoever. And you do have the time to do that. It just takes a moment. Now, next one, to be a leadership magnet, to have people want to work for you. Create a culture of growth. Create a culture of growth. So when you create a culture of growth, or what is a culture of growth? Is it sending people to training? Is it you coaching them on how to get better in their position? Is it a bunch of courses throughout the year? Is it having a company-wide or team-wide retreat where you do training literally to help people take a step up? So one of the easiest things to do, of course, is create the culture of growth, put out a survey. What skill sets do your team members or employees want to learn? Of course, there's lots and lots of online courses for almost any purpose. One of the things I do is I customize recorded trainings for teams. So if your team wants to learn communication, conflict resolution, how to read behavioral styles, how to sell better, contact me and I will create a custom course for you. Now, people learn better when it's a combo pack. So it's interactive training. So a recorded course, live training, remote training, it works better. But create the culture of growth. So one is, what do your employees want to learn? The other culture of growth is, do you as a leader help develop the people in your business, on your team to get better? In a sense, you may want to be training people to replace you. So if you're a small business, yes, down the line, you want people to replace you. Or better, what if you go on vacation? You want people to be able to step up if you're out and your business runs on autopilot, that you've trained people to take over if you're unavailable so that you can have a life. So the culture of growth is two-pronged. Can employees learn skills they want? Do you teach, coach, offer courses to build their skills? Now, one of the most powerful ways to do this is take your whole team, take your whole company to a retreat, break off into different sections, and not only where are we going as a company or a business, not only what are we doing moving forward, what's the big picture, but do coaching and training at that retreat just for skill building, personalized towards your team, with input from them on skills they want to learn. This is a powerful, powerful motivator that will help drive employee retention. Employees today want a culture of growth where they can improve their skills and they can improve their skills specific to the workforce. So it doesn't just have to be for your work. And I know that might sound odd, but if you teach people skills just to improve their overall well-being, what if you had periodic training, better parenting skills, wellness courses, bring in a trainer or speaker to your company, not at a retreat, but just maybe every quarter to teach things that are not specific to your company's mission and vision, just to enhance people's well-roundedness. That goes a long way towards separating you from so many different businesses and creating cheerleaders for you and your company. Remember, we're talking about being a magnet. We want you to be able to attract people to your team, to your company, to your business. Next, so we've talked about power of recognition, creating a culture of growth. The next is communication skills. How do we communicate with different generations? How do we communicate with different sets of business skills? Does tech and sales relate to each other? Do you have the problem where sales might be promising something that tech hasn't built yet? That causes a lot of issues with customers. Have you taught your team members in sales how to deal with difficult personalities? As you know, in our society right now, people are a little bit stressed out. They're on edge. They're uneasy. So you might be dealing with or confronting, shall I say, customers not on their best behavior. And so have you taught your team members how to handle customers, vendors, associates who are a little on edge, who are demanding, who are short-tempered? Have you taught your team members how to communicate differently to the different generations? Gen Z, Gen X, millennials, baby boomers. So some of your team members love using this device. They love text messaging as a form of communication. Baby boomer, I like face-to-face or Zoom. So you've got mixed behavioral styles and mixed personality styles on your team. Have you gone the extra mile to provide communication training? Do you bring your team or people together simply to just talk about what are the stresses and strains they're experiencing and how we can overcome those, and then move forward with our vision and mission and daily responsibilities? How often do you have a quick team meeting just to check in? What's the communication like between team members? What's the communication like between teams? Is everybody clear on where we're going and where we're headed? Has something changed and there's a higher priority for the week, for the month, for the quarter? Has that been communicated clearly? So talk about how to use these skills. Different generations and behavioral styles prefer different ways of communicating. It doesn't mean can't get our message through. So are you able to recognize the 4 classic behavioral styles as a leader? Do you know the people who we call in the platinum rule? By the way, platinum rule is a great personality profile that's easy and simple. 4 styles. You're the type A director controller. You're fast paced. You want the information now, bullet points, move on. You're a socializer. What's the shiny new object? You're a team builder. You're a motivator. You're great at communicating. You bring everybody together, but you skip details and you go on and on about things. Are you the relator? Are you the person who's the glue of the team? You help minimize conflict, get everybody to get along, but you follow through on everything that's assigned to you. Are you the thinker analyzer? Are you the one listening or watching this quick webinar this morning right now and you're thinking, Brian, where's the data? What's the facts? What's the research? And of course, if you need any of that, I can provide that data for you. And do you do any kind of communication training where everybody can communicate together? Because yes, we're all combo packs, but the platinum rule, simply put, treat others according to their style. Treat others according to their style. So the more you can coach and train your team members to recognize what style is a person and communicate towards that style. So again, the platinum rule, treat others according to their style. Of course, we all know the golden rule, treat others as you would like to be treated. But if I'm fast paced, make it happen, let's go, and you're going on and on about details, well, that's going to be a little bit of a difficult situation. So how do you communicate towards the strengths of the person you're dealing with? So again, let's recap. So how are we becoming a leadership magnet? We're using the power of recognition. Point out when you notice people do something well. Point out when they've gone the extra mile. Let them know you appreciate their day-to-day hard work and you recognize it, even though you don't point it out maybe as often as they want. Create a culture of growth. Are you teaching your team members new skills? Are you teaching them how to get better at your business site? Are you offering them skills and tools to make their life better? Remember, there's lots and lots of available training tools out there for you. People would love it at your company if you offered them financial education, how to be healthier, how to eat right, how to keep the weight off, how to deal with stress better. Yeah, is that specific to your company's mission and vision? Maybe, maybe not. But when you offer a well-rounded pool of resources to enhance the lives of your team members, they're going to be raving fans. Yes, you might have heard that back in the day from Ken Blanchard's books. You want raving fans. You want team members to talk about how good your company is. And you want your team members to talk about what a great leader you are. This creates that magnetic leadership. It does enhance workforce retention and get people to tell their colleagues and friends at other businesses, hey, you might want to come over here if you're looking for a change. It's a powerful, powerful tool. So this leads to our next one, work-life harmony. Work-life balance, that might be hard to achieve. But work-life harmony, do people want to come to work in the morning? This fits under many different categories. So work-life harmony might be something like this. What's your sense as a business leader what's the attitude of your employees coming in the morning? How many of them love coming into work? How many of them love booting up their computer if you have a remote team? What's the communication like between your remote teams and your in-person teams? My direct question is, are you aware that some people are dreading coming to work? There's an unresolved conflict. And so you want to check in with your team members. What's it like for them to come to work? Are they excited? Are they motivated? Do they like what they're doing? So providing that communication, that openness, work-life harmony, what do they need? You know, in today's world, really, really important. Are you able to have flexibility of scheduling? Is it okay for members of your team? Maybe there's an important graduation ceremony. Yes, that comes along every year at the same time. But what about sporting events? What about medical appointments? Can a team member leave, go to an important medical appointment for their family member, and then finish some work remotely, or make up the time in another way without being docked sick time or leave time? Lots and lots of creative solutions to create that harmony. Again, when you offer these, when you talk about these issues, bring them up to the openness, you're improving and optimizing motivation. Your employees go, wow, my bosses actually care about my family life or personal life. I can work my butt off, get recognition, get training to improve, learn other skill sets, and when needed, take a little bit of time that I can make up. Be creative in your solutions for this. It's so important. Having been a team member and a leader at a business when I went through some family crises, what's the culture like at your work when my parents were ill? I'll never forget an example where what's the culture? We're all so hyper focused on doing our jobs. Um, I got alerted that my mom had fallen and, like the old commercial, literally couldn't get up. So I grabbed a team member and said, "Hey, I was working at a clinic. I need you to fill in for group." And he said, "Well, I'm super busy. You do your work." So I pulled him aside and said, "You know what? I've got to take time off. Uh, my mom fell. I'm leaving. Please run the group. I'll make up the time for you later." Well, I left. People grumbled about that for months. So, what's the culture like? What Talk about things in advance, set up plans so that if there's a drastic situation, and this brings to mind this, do you as a leader, are you open to hearing from team members? Hey, I've got this stressor or crisis happening at home. I'm handling it, but there might be a time where I have to leave for a bit and then I'll come back and make up the time or the work. Are you open to that communication? When you do that, you lower the temperature, you lower the stress, you optimize the environment where people want to go the extra mile for you. They want to do well, and they'll talk about what a great workplace culture you have. So, again, this all goes to magnetizing people who want to come to work for you, your team, and your culture. Last one before we run out of time. What's it like to ask people to step up so you can surprise people, you can give them some warning, but the people on your team you want, or at your company, you want to create the culture inside your organization to develop leaders. One of my specialties is training leaders so that you're not reliant on me. So if you bring me in, let's say quarterly, right, 3 times a year, I will train your leaders to develop the people on their team to take a step up where you have self-sustaining leadership training going on. You want your leaders to find the people on the team to eventually replace them or step up when someone goes away. So can you randomly say, "Hey, Brenda, I'd like you to run the team meeting this week." Coach, train, let people step up to see what it's like to run a meeting, run a team meeting, run a training. Put them in charge of things that they haven't run before, test their skill sets. That's, again, creating this culture of optimizing skill sets, of letting people experience different facets of the job. And it doesn't matter what type of business you're in. This literally can be a tire shop. How does a tire shop work? If we've got specialists, people who undo the lug nuts, take the tires off, put the new tire on the tire rim, fix the flat. What if we train everybody around to do that? Now, of course, that happens at most places. But have you gone to a tire shop and you could feel the tension within the place because there's poor communication, because there's unresolved conflicts? I certainly don't want my flat tire being fixed that day at the place, right? And so remember, customers, clients, outside people can feel what your workplace is like. I want you as a leader, as a CEO of a business, to be able to be that magnet of attraction. And again, so let's kind of just summarize where we've been. So we've talked about the power of recognition. It doesn't take a lot of time. If you can do it face to face, give them a pat on the back. That is powerful. If you can let people know, here's the training we're going to give you to take a step up, right? People want to learn new skills, creating that culture of growth. Ask them what they want. Have you set up a system where you can coach and train people to communicate with the different behavioral styles? How to communicate under stress and pressure, how to deal with difficult customers, how to deal with, some of us have a difficult personality at workplace, right? How do you lower that tension and get people to collaborate? How do we resolve those day-to-day functions? What is the work-life harmony that you strive to have balance on? Hopefully you're not in the situation where if one person's out sick, the system comes to not a grinding halt, but part of the workplace just doesn't get resolved or fixed. For instance, this just recently happened. I had applied for an extended warranty with a new car purchase that I got. And then I got a letter in the mail 3 weeks later saying that my warranty has been voided. So what happened is the dealer, for whatever reason, didn't send in the paperwork, or the warranty company didn't get it. But the finance person's out. And I understand it's summer, it's vacation. Yet they don't have enough people where there's staff to have somebody step up to help the finance person's work while they're out. So if that's your situation, that's where you want to do cross training. How can someone fill in for a week or two? This promotes that workplace culture of growth, enhancing skills, produces work-life harmony, so that I know if I go out on vacation, I'm not going to come back to work for an avalanche. And then most important, the number one skill set that Gen Z, that millennials, that even still Xers want, how can I learn to take over? How can I learn leadership skills? Are you training, coaching, and teaching how people can take a step up? Are you enhancing their skill sets? When you do these 5 things, so again, power of recognition, creating that growth culture, effective communication for stronger teams, work-life harmony, and empowering leadership, you become a magnet. People will want to come to work for you as a leader. People will want to come to your company and team. So you want to create raving fans. So again, if you would like some assistance with these tips, please connect with me on LinkedIn, or you can book a call with me or email me at info@drbrianspeaks. And so it's been a pleasure spending time with you. Those of you from around the country who've joined me, I see Brenda from Detroit, I see Sharon from Northern California, and I see Tim from Texas. Thank you for hopping on and joining me this morning. We're going to start doing a weekly live webinar on different topics around leadership, conflict resolution, wellness, all around mental fitness. So I appreciate all of you joining me. Thanks for your comments. And again, connect with me on LinkedIn if you'd like to learn more or optimize any of these specific skills that we've talked about this morning. Thank you so much for your time. Have an excellent and exceptional Friday and a super weekend.